Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. It is a Monday morning, and we've just about managed to go live. We had a 5-hour power cut last night, so I haven't got to sleep till about 5 a.m. trying to get the stream ready. So bear with me. It's not going to be a very high energy show today, but thank you all for coming. There's a lot of people in chat. There's a lot of people watching. Wherever you're watching from, just remember, smash the like button, give us a follow, hit subscribe, whatever you've got in front of you. And also, let us know where you are today. What are you doing? How is your week planned? What are we going to go through today? Well, first of all, we're going to have a little look at what's going to happen with Bitcoin again. It's on the news, it's in the news, it is the news. We're then going to look at Vitalik's got some investment advice, which is very brave of him. We're then going to look at what would Solana layer 2s look like. What has Anatoly got to say about that? We're going to look at Cardano. We tried to do it on Saturday, we're out of time. We're going to have a look at Cardano again. Then we're going to look at NFTs, and we are going to get and have a look at Llama Drama. NFTs, do you know what? I don't remember what the last two articles are about at all whatsoever. I think it's got something to do with NFTs, but for what they're about, I have no idea. So please bear with me while I try and stay with the show over the next hour or so. First of all, what's happening in the market? Well, market cap is down. We've had a bit of a shakeout. Bitcoin dominance is searching. Remember on Saturday, which was 2 days ago, I think we're at 51.5 maybe, and now we are surging. We're going to have a look at that in a minute. I've got the Bitcoin dominance chart to go through as well. ETH dominance is falling away. Volume is neither here nor there, but it's been a bloodbath for alts, and I'm going to explain why I think that's happened today and why I think it's happened. Well, basically why I think we're in the situation we're in, because as you can see, if we look at the 24-hour gainers, there's only really one major gainer, two major gainers today. But if we go to the 24-hour losers, we are in a sea of red, absolute red. Celestia is down, IOTA is down, Sats is down, they're all down. Remember, my trading signal on Celestia is that you buy in at around $12.50, and then you sell towards $14.50 stroke $15. That's played out really well for me, especially if you go back over the last month or so. You'll see we've been putting in these peaks and we've been buying down here. So Celestia is coming back down towards the buy range. Don't fade it. I'm not a huge fan of the price action getting to this point, but where there is money to be made, there is money to be made, and I'm not going to avoid a coin because I think it's artificially high, which I do think so. Bitcoin is coming in at 43.7. ETH is still at 2,200. So the markets have had a bit of a shakeout, and I said to you last weekend, the end of last week, you've held the line for a year and a half. Don't fade anything now. Whatever you're doing, do not panic sell anything you've got. We are more than likely going to see huge price action this week. Don't worry about it. Just hold the line, give it a few more weeks and see where we are. Bitcoin is going to pump before anything else. Once we get the approval or the rejection, there's still the 5% chance of rejection. Whatever happens, Bitcoin is going to react first. And, there might be people who don't hold Bitcoin who are sitting there wondering whether it's a good time to get in or not. There isn't a bad time to get into Bitcoin prices. We are still 18 months off the all-time high potentially. So, buying at $46,000, it doesn't really make a difference. Price is potentially going to hit six figures. So, as we have covered, the Bitcoin fever is, of course, the ETF fever. Will break. We've had crypto influencers upon crypto influencer. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be in 24 hours. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. It's going to be the other. It hasn't happened yet. It will happen when Gary Gensler and his gang say it's going to happen. Now, bear in mind one thing. They've already said that the vote is going to happen this week. But that vote happening today doesn't mean that there's going to be an announcement tomorrow. The vote happening on Wednesday isn't going to mean the announcement is made by Friday. We don't know when the announcement is going to be made. We know something is going to happen. But one interesting little tidbit that we got last night, really late last night, I posted it into the Telegram group. And that was to do with, if I just bring it up for, I'm just going to read it out to you. I'm not going to bring it up on the screen. It's in our Telegram group. And this was from, where are we? This was from Bitcoin Magazine. If the SEC approves the spot Bitcoin ETFs, they could start trading as soon as the next business day, Bloomberg reports. So the news that was out about Bitcoin, the Bitcoin ETFs needing 4 weeks to be bedded in, potentially that is no longer the case. Potentially it is going to be a 24-hour, 48-hour thing. So, I mean, these are all good bits of news, I suppose. We just have to wait and see. So, we don't really know. We've had the matrix port correction. We don't know if they're right or wrong. Bitcoin did come down. We've not really recovered since that news. We were at 45,000. We're now struggling to get anywhere near 44,000. We've kind of lost a little bit of momentum in Bitcoin. And what's happening is that, let me get onto the chart and try and explain what's happening. There's two charts I want to show you. The first one I think I'll bring up is the Bitcoin dominance chart, because that's kind of where all of this is heading anyway. And I've shown you this before. I think I showed it a couple of weeks ago. That is not the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart. There we go. So, Bitcoin dominance is currently at 54%. That is 54% of the total crypto market is held in Bitcoin. Going back to November 2022, let's just call it a year ago for argument's sake, we were just at 40%. So, over the course of the last year, Bitcoin has outperformed the whole market as a whole. Yes, it's probably underperformed against Solana and Celestia and further coins, but on a whole, it's outperformed. And this trend line up has only been broken once in all that time, and that was towards the end of December. And look what happened. We talk about the bull market support band, and some people don't think you should use it when you're looking at non-stock or non-crypto related information, but to be honest, it plays out. And what you have here is you have Bitcoin putting in a Nessie. I don't know what else to call it. And look where we are. We've bounced just under the bull market support band and the trend line, and we've come straight up to this line, which we have touched on 3 previous occasions. So we're at 54%. So the money in the market, the money in alts, is moving towards Bitcoin. It's being sucked into Bitcoin. People are expecting the next 2 to 5 days to change the course of history in Bitcoin. So they're selling off Solana, they're selling off Ethereum, they're selling off the alts, moving into Bitcoin, potentially doing it for the next week, potentially doing it for the next 2 weeks. At some point, alts are going to recover. One thing that certainly isn't going to happen, in my opinion, is we are not going to see this. We could very well see, if Bitcoin ETFs are approved today, we could very much see something like this. Okay, but remember, nothing should move up or down in a straight line for a long period of time. It's unhealthy for the market. We can't have Bitcoin going on a mad tear to $100,000 because we need to slowly get there. Let's hope we get towards potentially $50,000 to $60,000 today. There are people talking about being at $1 million by the end of the year. I just don't see where that money is coming from. The amount of money you would need to put into Bitcoin to move it from $44,000 to $1 million in a year is astronomical. Even if every major blue chip worth its salt put $1 billion into Bitcoin, it wouldn't move it that high. We could be looking at a 200,000 or 300,000 Bitcoin, but we're not going to hit $1 million. I mean, seriously, we are where we were. Brogan's drawn these lines. You can see here that we are trapped below 44,276. We have to break it. What would be a good move for Bitcoin in the next few days without a decision is something like this, where we come up and we do this. That would be a good move. There isn't really anything I want to show you today. I mean, we kind of have, I suppose you could argue that we have some kind of indication, which I've highlighted before, which takes us up towards the target that I've got for $50,000. But I mean, it's very, very tenuous. And to be honest, any price predictions this week for Bitcoin, whether it be me, whether it be anybody else, I don't know. I mean, we could very well come down to 38,000. We could come down and test the bull market support band at 36,000 if we're rejected. We could see this if we're rejected. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. Not rejected, delayed. If we are delayed, we could see a huge wick down. But given all of the evidence that's been put in front of us, the meetings with the SEC, the meetings with NASDAQ, the meetings with the different ETF applicants, the tickers being put into place, the fact that they're going to have a vote, I don't think there's a lot left in the SEC locker to delay us much further. But there's still that chance. Until that piece of paper is signed or that document is signed, there is still a chance that we could come down. But if we do, we need to be looking at about this 36,000, 38,000 level. If we are not rejected and we do pump, I could see us immediately going up to this level here, which is about 50,000, 51,000. I could see that within half an hour. I don't see us at $100,000 by the end of January. I don't see us at $100,000 by the end of February. But nobody knows. That's the problem. Nobody knows. There's talk of all this money. BlackRock have got $2 billion to buy the market, starting from when it's approved. We've heard about the Bitwise having $200 million, whatever it might be. We just don't know. We just don't know. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do, because that's not really going to get us anywhere. So that's all we're really going to cover on Bitcoin. I don't want to go over it in too much detail. I feel like a stuck record. I can't not talk about it. That's the problem. I can't not talk about it because there are minor updates that I need to kind of go over with you. Now, I am going to drop a box actually, which I haven't done since we started the stream. So let me drop that before we talk about. So Vitalik has come out, Vitalik Buterin, and started talking about four important pieces of financial advice. Do you know, I cannot see any chat because Giveaway Bot is just absolutely spamming the chat. I can't see anything. Hang on, and now my phone's died. Give me a second. Let me just screenshot that and hopefully send it to the powers that be, and hopefully we can get them deleted because it's ruining It's ruining the chat. I can't see anybody's conversation. I can't see people saying hello. I can't see a thing. So there we go. Okay, that is now done. Hopefully that will drop. Let's have a look. There we go. Finally, it worked. So we do drop boxes pretty much every stream. So if you're new here, please give us a follow and a like and a subscribe. It would really help us out. We're trying to get to 100,000 followers across our channels by the, well, not by the end of anything, but as soon as possible. I think we're currently now at about 84,000, 85,000 maybe. So we're not far off. So anything you can do to help would be fantastic. Now, what has Vitalik got to say? So the co-founder of Ethereum offered a breath of practical financial wisdom as the crypto makers turn volatile. Good morning, crypto fiend. I hope you are well. Vitalik emphasized the value of diversification in an era where new investment opportunities emerge daily. Spreading assets across various sectors can mitigate risk. This approach aligns with traditional investment strategies and resonates with the fluid nature of the market. Now, I'm not going to say that Vitalik that is anything other than a very techie person. You are most welcome, Crypto Fiend. I'm glad you're well. I'm glad you're well. We've had power cuts. Everything that could have gone wrong on this stream has gone wrong so far, and it is being held together with blue tack and sellotape right now. So thank you for your good morning. Good morning back to you. It's nice to see you in chat. So he underscored the importance of savings. We know about this. In his third point, he advocated for a boring portfolio. I totally agree with this. This is the third point that of the 3 points so far, this is the one I agree with. If I show you the $15,000 to $1 million portfolio that we put together, you'll clearly see it's a boring portfolio. It has Bitcoin, it has Ethereum, it has Chainlink. It has all kinds of things on there. Crypto Fiend, I will, if you leave your link in the chat, I will come over and I will give you a follow. That's what I will do for you. I'll check out your videos, and it's good to have another fellow crypto streamer in chat. It really is, especially when you're feeling like I'm feeling, because I've had about 3 hours sleep. So boring portfolio is the way forward. You want to have Cardano, XRP, the ones I just mentioned. You want all of them. It might not be sexy. It might not be meme coin central. It might not be AI central. But if you want long-term wealth, you want to hold all of these tokens, because they might not 200, 300x. If they 10, 20x over the next 5 to 10 years, it's life-changing money, and that's what you need to look at. Don't be distracted. I say it all the time about risk management. We do cover some meme coins on here. We do cover new platforms on here. Take a very small percentage of your portfolio. The same way, if you go to the casino, you don't go to the casino with life savings. You go and you take the money that you're willing to lose in your pocket or on your debit card or whatever it might be. So treat meme coins the same way. If one of your meme coins 100x's and you're suddenly left with a few $1,000s, my advice would be to take 2/3 of that, 3/4 of that, and go and buy Solana, go and buy Bitcoin, go and buy Ethereum. And then the rest of it, the other $500, go and throw that against a wall of meme coins and see what sticks. That's the way to play it. Not financial advice, of course. Lastly, he warned against excessive leverage. I totally agree with that. Don't go into leverage unless you know exactly what you're doing. It is too dangerous. So that's Vitalik's bit of advice. You know what? I'm not going to knock him. he should stick to programming, but his advice isn't too bad. All in all, not too bad. Now we're going to look at the Solana chart in a minute, but the one question that people have is, why are there no layer 2s on Solana? Let me give you an idea. So Ethereum has Polygon, it has Optimism, it has Arbitrum. Solana doesn't have any. There is a problem with networks. There are three things a network needs to be. It needs to be fast, it needs to be decentralized, and it needs to be secure. It's like a triumvirate, and there is a problem. You cannot have a super quick, super decentralized, super secure network because they fight against each other. Ethereum has gone down the route of being decentralized and secure. That's how it's gone. So what you need to do is you need to appreciate why Polygon, why Arbitrum, why Optimism exist. They exist to fix the speed issue with Ethereum. Solana, what's the issue with Solana? For me, the issue is it's not decentralized enough. So it has speed and it has security, but it's not decentralized as much as Ethereum. So that's why I think there are no layer 2s on Solana, because the problem that Polygon, the problem that Optimism and Arbitrum are fixing is the transaction speed. Solana doesn't suffer from that. And because it isn't as decentralized, it doesn't have the problems that Ethereum is solving with its decentralization. So all in all, you're saying, why has Solana not got layer 2s when it's fast and it's secure? Which means, in essence, there's no need for a Matic or an Optimism or an Arbitrum on Solana. What there is a need for is decentralization. The problem then is the more decentralization you have, the more transactions, the slower everything becomes. So does Solana ever require layer 2 solutions? Anatoly explains. We're not going to go into too much theory on this. Let's make it a little bit bigger so you can all see. Describing why the Solana platform seems bent on layer 1 solutions, Yakovenko explained that layer 2, coupled with other tech innovations like sidechains, data availability, validating bridges, and zero-knowledge proof validation, have never enhanced Solana's hunger for achieving global atomic state. Part of the co-founder's tweet read thus: in this end state, any layer 2 sidechain or ZK proof amounts to the same thing. They are external execution environments that cannot ensure atomic composition with the rest of the layer 1 state. Now, you kind of have, with something like Chainlink, for example, or any big oracle, you kind of have the ability to turn your blockchain into an interoperable center of the universe. So if you connect up the oracles, if you create sidechains, if you create the ability, like Cardano are doing with Arbitrum using Mina, if you have anything like that available to you, then rather than changing the core of your blockchain, you are complementing it with other tech which is better than what you could ever produce. Ethereum has already done this. Ethereum, with its EVM and its layer 2s, already has this basket of compatibility. Cosmos is the same. Cosmos is this huge spider's web of interoperable chains. So Solana really has to kind of pick out what it wants to add. It already has DeFi, it already has NFTs, it already has speed, it already has proof of stake. It's got most of the things that these layer 2s fix on other platforms. So what they're looking for is, rather than trying to create layer 2s, they're just looking at bigger and bigger projects coming to Solana and using the Solana ecosystem, which is kind of what we want. So the short answer is they don't need layer 2s at this moment in time. That's the short answer. But it doesn't mean it can't happen in the future. The possibility is there. So moving on, what do we have on the chart? Well, as you know, we've had a correction across the board. And Solana is no different. But as you will know, if you've been here for a while, when we've looked at Cardano, when we've looked at XRP, when we've looked at Solana, we have these trend lines. And these trend lines are my own version of the bull market support band, which is obviously down here, coming in at about, let's call it $57, $58. We're at 90 right now, but look what we've done. If I zoom in, I'm not going to move from the daily because I don't really want to. If you look at what's happened, we have come down and we have touched this long-ish term trend line, this recent trend line. And now we're sitting at $90. So what do we have to do? We have to do what everybody expects us to do. We have to either bleed down, which would take us down to about $73, or bleed down to the bull market support band. We're going to call that $60 now. So the price targets for me are so obvious, I don't even want to write them. $73, $57, and at the other end, I mean, I don't expect us to get anywhere near $110 in the near future, but we should be challenging $100 again. Potentially we'll get to 99. If we do come down a little bit further, you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, this was never a good look. Ever since we had that fake news, Solana and most alts have been on a slide. And it's not really a black swan. It's just one of those bits of news which has taken us from the side. Because although I'm saying there's a 5% chance of the Bitcoin ETF being rejected, the majority of the market hasn't considered that. The majority of the market is expecting it 5 days ago, and that's not how these things work. So again, if we do have some volatility and you want to pick up some Solana, those price targets are, I would say, $72. That's a good 20% dip from where we are now. $72 would be a good price to pick up some Solana. If the world ends and we come down to the bull market support band, that's $60. That's a 33% drop. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, because in the past, if you look at what's happened, we've had times where we have come down and we have bounced. So I'm not expecting us to just do this and wind our way down. If the Bitcoin ETF is approved, we're going up. If it's rejected, we're coming down. And that's about as far as I can go with it. If we didn't have the ETF news, let's take that scenario. If we didn't have the ETF news, I'd expect to move back up towards $100. That's what I would expect us to do. I'd expect us, as we've done several times in the past, I would expect us to bounce. But we don't know. And anybody that says they do know is either lying or is Gary Gensler. So just bear that in mind. I'm not going to give you outlandish predictions, because everything I say will be blown out of the water by anything that happens with the SEC this week. That's the problem. I can show you some good prices. I can show you Cardano in a minute is at a very good price. Do I think $90 is a good price for picking up some Solana? Yes. I do expect it to get into the multiple hundreds in the next bull run. If you were to DCA in, or if you were to ask me what should I do, I would say I would put a buy order on Solana over the next 6 weeks. Maybe do it every 3 or 4 days, maybe do it every Friday, every Monday morning, whatever it might be. I would buy in. And if the price comes down, you might average a price of $70 for Solana. If the price goes up and hits $120, you might have an average price of $110 or $105. But either way, DCA mitigates your risk against volatility. And right now, we are in major volatility. And the longer this goes on, the more volatile the market is going to get. Until we get that decision, the market is going to be very, very twitchy. If you're in your positions, hold them. Don't panic sell. If you have money on the side, like I mentioned a few days ago, look to pick up some cheap crypto, cheap comparative to where it was. So I bought some Beam. I bought 2 Beam, one at 2 cents, 2.1 cents, the other at 1.8 cents. So I bought some Beam on Saturday or Friday, and then I bought some more last night during the massive dip. So I'm going to pick up some Beam. We're probably going to give away some Beam on the stream at some point in the near future. We're going to give away some Beam. We'll probably do it as a giveaway. Brogan this afternoon or this evening is going to do 2 simple signals. He's going to look at Beam and he's going to look at another one. Let me have a quick look. What 2 coins he's looking at today? He's going to look at C or Say, and then Beam tomorrow. Now, for those of you that don't follow us, which is fine, we stream on here every day. You'll find us. We've made a video about Say airdrops. Now, it's not a full video because how long is a piece of string? There's lots of airdrops going on. What we've done with the Say video is we've looked at the token, the tokenomics a little bit. We've looked at the price action. We've looked at a wallet that you should get to take part in these airdrops. Then we've picked 1 example or 2 examples of some future airdrop future airdrop projects that you can get involved with. But remember, on Say, it's a new chain. There's 40 or 50 different airdrop potentials. Some haven't been confirmed, some have. So I try to make 10-minute videos because I don't want to sit here and make a 45-minute video about an airdrop. So it's not exhaustive, but it gets you. By the end of the video, you will have a wallet. You will understand the ecosystem a little bit. You'll understand where to go to get the airdrops and things like that. And remember, the exchange that you're on trades these tokens. So if you want to buy some Say, now is a good time to get some prices on Say because all the prices have come down. Say is going to do decent numbers in the next bull run. It's a decent chain. I like it reminds me an awful lot of Solana in terms of speed, in terms of the UI. It's all very clean, it's brand new, it's quick. Go and have a look at it. I would highly recommend it. Now, Cardano developers, we covered this. I'm not going to spend too long on this, but we covered this a little bit on Saturday. Now, remember, the thing with blockchains for me is if they're not sexy, if they're not in the news for being sexy, they get overlooked. And Matic, we're going to look at. Does that say Magic NFTs? That should say Matic NFTs. That's what the problem is. Right. So I'm on a big push at the minute to get Cardano highlighted. And the reason is people are overlooking the blockchain. Everybody at the minute is having a go at XRP and they're having a go at Cardano. And the price action hasn't been great, but the price action hasn't been great on lots of things apart from maybe Solana, Avalanche, and a few other top 50 coins. Cardano, remember, is a top 10 coin, so is XRP. The price action hasn't been amazing. We're nowhere near $1. We're nowhere near $1 on XRP either. But look at the development going on and compare it across the chains. Cardano boasts the most substantial developer activity among blockchains. Right? That is the key. So you've heard of zombie chains. Zombie chains are blockchains where there aren't any developers, or there are only a few developers who aren't doing many commits. And committing is where you're updating the code. and Cardano is one of the most active. Ethereum has always been up there. Bitcoin's been up there. Solana's been up there. A lot of Solana developers left in the last bull run and moved on to different chains. So developers follow the money. Cardano has the most developers. Look, ADA, HBAR, Polkadot, Atom, OP, AVAX. Look at the top chains for the most daily commits over the last 30 days. Cardano is head and shoulders above everybody else. Look at what I've been saying about the tie-up with Arbitrum 1. This is going to explode at some point. Cardano is going to fly. And I'm not a Cardano maxi. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I'm not paid to shill Cardano. But this token, it's like it's the last one to be picked for the football team. It's like, yeah, I'll have Ethereum. Yeah, I'll have Bitcoin. Yeah, I'll have XRP. Yeah, I'll have Polkadot. And Cardano's the one with the ball sitting there, little scruffy little kid, and nobody picks him. But he's the one with the ball. He's the one that's going to score all the goals. He's the David Beckham on the team. And nobody picks him because he doesn't look the part at the minute. But the ecosystem is going to explode. And it's going to explode in the near future. I've read a couple of this guy's articles in the past. You know, he's actually very decent. Adejumo. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce his first name. I will destroy it. Now, look at the price action of Cardano. It's awful. The recent price action has been awful. Look where we are. Now, remember, we were talking about the long-term. Let me bring up the daily chart instead. It might be easier to read. There we go. So look at what I was saying about Solana a few minutes ago, and look at what I was saying about XRP. We have these trend lines that have been going on now for a couple of months, and not so much volatility as Solana, because Cardano is more of a stable coin than anything else. We've come up, we cannot break this price action up here. We were going to come back up again, then we've had the terrible news, liquidity's come out the market. Where have we come? We've come back to our trend line. Now, because Cardano isn't as volatile as Solana, the bull market support band is down here at about 42 cents. So where could we go in a disaster? 42 cents for me. That's where I think we could go, and that is only maybe a 15% drop. But again, the other thing we talk about is, well, let's not call it the danger zone, the buying zone. The buying zone is this red area down here, and we spent from May to November in that zone. That was the time to buy Cardano. We are not a million miles away from that zone now. That zone is sitting there at about 38 cents. We're not far away. That's a 2-day move. So if you do not have enough Cardano in your bags, not financial advice, I would look at it. But I mean, everything, I mean, these are the same charts. We were overbought here, which was this peak here, overbought. What happened? We had to cool off. And when we cooled off, this did this, and this did this. This price action down here, that's people selling back into Bitcoin, I imagine, because the Bitcoin dominance is surging. Stablecoin dominance isn't going up as much, so people aren't selling to stablecoins, they're selling to Bitcoin. Again, that's a positive move. If people sell to stablecoins, it means they expect the market to crash. If people sell to Bitcoin, it means they expect Bitcoin to outperform alts. That's a massive distinction that you have to keep in your head. If Bitcoin dominance is going up and everything around you is in red, remember where the Bitcoin price is now is 43,800. It was 43,800 here. It's 43,800 here. And we've had a correction Not quite of biblical proportions, but we've had somewhat of a correction on a lot of alts, but Bitcoin's held its price. So money's flowing into Bitcoin, it's flowing out of alts. This is a good opportunity to buy these coins. Again, this may not have happened. It's easy in 2020 vision, with 2020 vision, to say, you know what could have happened with ADA is, let's say the ETF was approved. We've got this kind of action going on. It's off to the races, off to the absolute races. It never happened. Look what happened. We got to the end, we broke down. We went that way. We went that direction. So charts can say whatever they want. Bitcoin rules the nest. The macro environment rules the nest. The ETF at this moment in time rules the nest. And what we have to do is take advantage of it. And that's picking up ADA at 49 cents. I bought ADA at 40 cents, or maybe a bit less actually. Beginning of January last year. What was the price? About 36 cents. So I'm still up about 33% in a year on my ADA. I was up a lot more, of course, when it was up here, but remember what I keep saying about the train. The train journey, people get on and off the train at all the different stops. You might want to sell your Cardano at $1. You might want to hold your Cardano to see if it gets to $3 or $5. But just because you do that, that's not necessarily what somebody else needs to do. So if you're new and you've never heard of ADA before, go and check it out. It's a very popular chain. It's well used. It's well developed. And 49 cents for a coin that was at a previous all-time high of, I think, $3. It's going to 6x to get back to its previous all-time high. Not financial advice. Now, I am running out of steam because I've had no sleep. So we are going to stumble like a pair of merry old fools after the Christmas dinner, stumble through the next two articles and get on to the quiz. Now this is like the race to the top. Let's go and have a look at this. Okay, so if we go back over various periods of time, this is what I was saying about Matic and don't fade Matic. Bitcoin, layer 1. Ethereum, layer 1. Solana, layer 1. Polygon, layer 2 on top of Ethereum. Polygon, the price action of Polygon, very similar to Cardano, does not reflect the usage of that layer 2, in my opinion. Now, there is a kind of a war going on at the minute between the different chains. Ethereum, Polygon and Solana, all three of these chains are fighting for number 2 position. I mean, Bitcoin is head and shoulders above on NFT sales volume at the minute. But Ethereum, Polygon and Solana have been changing positions. We sat here maybe only 2 weeks ago and I was saying that Solana was now the second biggest NFT blockchain. It's now 4th. Polygon and Ethereum have overtaken it. All of these things can happen if there's a major chain like Azuki making an announcement or whatever you want to call it. What I'm saying, I'm not saying one is better than the other. What I'm saying is that you've got the sexy big boy in Ethereum, the sexy big boy in Solana. You've even got the upstart in Avalanche making a move. And then Polygon, which is being faded. If I said to somebody, name me 2 layer 2s sitting on top of Ethereum, they're all going to say Arbitrum and Optimism. Where? Arbitrum's down here. Arbitrum is in 9th position. Polygon is in 3rd. Why is Polygon going to do so well with NFTs? Because it's going to be easy to port them from Ethereum to Polygon. That is why. That is why. So for me, I like Polygon. The inflation of Polygon has dropped an awful lot. An awful lot. Cardano has a lot of serious baggage. You're right. I mean, the thing with Cardano is their community is tight. Their community is not going to go anywhere. And Cardano are very much a cult. The same way you've got Bitcoin maxes, Cardano is very much a cult. And the issue for me is that you want to bring people in. Now, when I reviewed SNEC, which was 6 or 9 months ago, I joined some Discord channels. I got talking to the Cardano people. They were like Solana. They're like jocks. They're all hoorah, hoorah, raid this, raid that. I went and did a review of Bank as well. Bank is another Cardano meme coin. Went and met, didn't go and meet them, but met them virtually and spoke to them about the project. The Cardano people are really welcoming. The people I have talked to have been really welcoming to the Cardano community. So I can only talk from my experience, but they're very tight and it's very cultish. Now, Polkadot, Kultana, yeah, I agree. Now, with Polkadot, I think the problem with Polkadot was when they were auctioning the side chains off, it seemed to take a year. It was like one side chain a month, and then they went and picked the NFT side chain that the name, I forget about it. I was very bullish on Polkadot about 4 years ago. I'd say I was really fairly bullish on Polkadot. I like the tech. You are good. It has got good tech, but it's just not. It's just, I don't see it anywhere. I don't see anybody talking about Polkadot. The story about Gavin Wood that I read online, that kind of was a bit out of order of what he talked about. And he's mentioned that himself. The parachains, that's what they were called. So yeah. Crypto Fiend is on 3 hours of sleep as well. The thing is, I'm not normally this subdued. I am normally a lot more, with it. And I'm so glad I'm not on camera because my eyes are just bloodshot. But we try and stream 6 days a week. So I am here. I am showing up. Even though the markets are bleeding out, like my eyes, I'm not going to go anywhere. But back to this, sorry. So Polkadot, for me, Polygon for me is not something to ignore. I hold Polygon. I also hold Ethereum and Bitcoin and Solana and Avalanche. So I hold the top 5, but I just think they are being ignored because they're not new and they're not sexy. They've got Disney, they've got Starbucks, they've got real world utility for their NFTs. Don't get me wrong, not a fan of digital rocks. I am a fan of VIP systems. I am a fan of loyalty schemes. I think it works amazingly for shops, coffee shops, whatever it might be. I think it works brilliantly. But the price action doesn't reflect. How positive an impact they are having. Now, the last thing I am going to look at before I do the quiz. And this, I mean, if you're not asleep already, this one's going to kill you off. So what's important when you're a project is, where is the liquidity? Where is the money in the chains? Where are you going to get the biggest bang for your buck? So DeFi Llama, I pick a different area of DeFi Llama a couple of times a week to show you things. We've gone through, and again, I've got to be careful because we stream on exchanges, but we've gone through volumes, we've gone through fees. We talked about the fact that if you go to fees, for example, you'll see, look at the fees generated by the chain. Ethereum and Bitcoin earn a fortune. Look at Solana, which is somewhere down here. Look at the fees of Solana compared to the fees of Ethereum. It's a tenth of it. You have to balance off when you run a chain, or you have a chain, you have to balance off the fees generated against the cost to the user. Ethereum, people say, is too high. Solana is dirt cheap. That money goes back into the development of the ecosystem. At some point, the fees on Ethereum are going to come down, but the volume's going to go up. At some point, I would imagine that the price of the fees on Solana are going to have to go up, but the volume is also going to go up. So at some point, we could see Solana move maybe 7th, maybe 6th, whatever it might be. Ethereum's probably always going to be number 1. Bitcoin might overtake it, but Ethereum, in terms of trading volume, Ethereum should always be number 1, well, for the distant future. So back to the point. We're talking about, if you're going to build a project, you want to build a project where liquidity is. And looking at where stable coins are will show you where the liquidity is. So Tether and USDC, between them, own the stablecoin market. But look at the difference. I'm going to show you a comparison between Ethereum and Solana. If you're going to build a project where, let's say it's an NFT project for argument's sake, you want to build an NFT project where your NFTs sell for $10,000 each. If you go to Ethereum, look at the volume of stable coins, 50 billion, nearly $60 billion on Ethereum. Look at Solana. What's that? 1.6 billion. So Ethereum has the liquidity. Another thing is the psychological way that people operate on two chains. On Solana, and I know a lot of Solana maxis and a lot of Solana NFT people, they sell and keep their assets in Solana. Ethereum, the mentality is different. They sell to Tether and USDC. Not all of them, and not all of the Solana people, but the mentality is you keep your funds in Tether and USDC. On Solana, you keep it in Sol, because USDC wasn't really that, it didn't happen straight away. So what I'm saying is that although Solana has all of these sexy bells and whistles and all this DeFi and everything else going on, look at where the money is. The money is on Ethereum. If we go to Polygon, for example, Polygon isn't a million miles away from Solana, and Polygon's a layer 2. If we move NFTs from Ethereum to Polygon, the money, the USDC, USDT, is going to follow in some way, shape or form. So again, don't fade Polygon. I'm not a Polygon maxi. I like it, but I'm not, you know, there's other chains I prefer. But I do think that some chains are being favored over others because of the sexiness. That's all I'm saying. So that's the end. A few other things. Crypto, yeah, exactly. Polkadot devs stats are even higher than Cardano, especially if you consider Kusama. Dig for the alpha. Mythical Games chose Polkadot. They are huge. They are indeed. I've covered quite a lot of different gaming chains recently. We've looked at a lot of them. And the problem is, if you don't have adoption, you can have the best technology in the world. If it's not adopted, it's never going to work. And that, for me, is the acid test for a lot of these things that are going on. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to do the quiz. But the quiz is only for exchanges. So if you are watching in a place that is not an exchange, I'm going to say good day to you. Thank you for coming. Please like and subscribe. Check out our videos, all those other kind of things. It's been great having a few of you in chat, because one of my chat is just full of spam. I just get bots and bots and bots. So it's actually nice to have people in chat today. So thanks everybody for coming. I'm going to pause the stream 20 seconds, and when I come back, I'm going to do the quiz on the exchanges. So a big thank you to Crypto Fiend, and a big thank you to Beat and Hidden Agendas and Kishan and all of the people